जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय जय राम ओम
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Dive deep, soar high. Service. Here the word service means dedication of our activities to God without expecting anything material in return. This is done to please the Lord as an offering to Him. Ramu. People talk so highly of you. What are you? Service. Are you interested in me? Ramu. I want you as a part of my sadhana. Service. Yes, I am part of sadhana. Ramu. I am unable to spend all my available time in chanting God's name and meditation. I would like to use the remaining time in such a way that it should be supporting and helping my sadhana. Service. Whatever time is left with you after these practices may be made available for me. Ramu, what should be my attitude? Service. First thing required is remembrance of God. You should take it that every object you touch is a manifestation of God. When you start your work, you may say, paper is God, pen is God, everything is God, etc. As you go on identifying everything with God, whatever work you do in the office or elsewhere is like the puja where you worship God by touching the different idols, chanting stostras, clothing the idols and feeding them, etc. Everything done with deep devotion and perfect attention. Ramu, how do you differ from ordinary work? Service. Ordinary work is egoistic and binding, whereas I help eradicate the ego sense, leading to liberation. Ramu, how can ordinary work be transformed as you? Service. Say a doctor is treating a patient, whether the patient is rich or poor, of low caste or high caste, should not be his concern. There must be a universal outlook without any distinction of caste, creed, color, or nationality or financial status. Ramu, is this the highest or noblest form? Service. No, it is not. Ramu, what more? Service. This step shows only satisfactory progress in sadhana. So, I am made use of for attaining yoga. Ramu, what next? Service. Having attained yoga, you will continue to be involved in me. Ramu, what is the purpose and what is the difference between the two? Service, it is purposeless and done for the joy of it. It is done spontaneously. The difference is that in the first type, it is with the sense of duality, looking upon the Lord as different from you and is done for the purification of your mind. The latter is done with the full realization of your oneness with the Lord and rendered without any purpose or object to attain. Ramu, how should I treat a saint and sinner when you are working through me? Service. You must maintain the feeling that in either case you are serving God only, though in different forms. You must forget the sin in the sinner. Remember God in all. Ramu. Books say that we should serve the saints and saintly personalities. Service. You must also serve the poor and the needy. Ramu. Whatever you said about you, is it applicable to all or only to sadhakas? Service. It is applicable to all those who want to take benefit of me. All should maintain the right attitude. Otherwise, activities will be like ordinary work and be binding. Ramu. In you, is there anything high and low or menial? Service, nothing like that. Any work, be it washing the toilets and bathrooms, or cleaning the temples of worship, or nursing the patients in the hospital, performing surgery in the operation theatre, doing bhajans and kirtans, worship in the temple or in your puja room, in short, any and every kind of work done with the attitude that this is my offering to the Lord. This is done by the power of the Lord. And with the remembrance of the Lord, it is transformed into worship of the Lord. Ramu, why is it necessary to have you as part of sadhana? Service. I am a part of sadhana for self-purification, like japa and meditation. Sadhakas in the early days of sadhana may not be able to spend all the time in japa and meditation. If they associate with me that is congenial for the sadhana, they can use all the hours of the day for communing with God. Ramu, should they have you all their life? Service. Those who spend more time in japa and meditation may spend that much less time with me. I am a must for self-purification. When the mind is so purified as to be absorbed in meditation, I quietly withdraw. When they are established in God consciousness, God will be working through them to fulfill His will. tension. Sham, Ramu, why are you so moody? Ramu, I have many problems but find no solution. Sham, what kind of problems? Cite one for example. Ramu, 1. My boss in the office is a terrible man. He takes us to task even for simple mistakes and sometimes for the mistakes of others. I'm afraid to face him, so I go to office with a lot of tension. 2. At home, my wife wants to have her own way, and our disagreements lead to verbal duels. 3. My son is seriously ill, and I am short of money to pay the bills. All these give me great tension. Sham. What you say is perfectly right. You have every reason to be upset and worried. But God has given us intellect. On such occasions, you have to use your intellect, which will help you to make the right decision. Now, I am telling you on behalf of your intellect to have a frank talk with fear, who is the culprit. Ramu, my fear. Oh, sorry. Mr. Fear, why do you take possession of me so often? Fear. I come to you to save your life, especially when somebody is ready to attack you. Then I make you run away and escape. When you are near fire or any other danger, I come to warn you to take care of yourself. When you feel too weak to face any situation, I am with you. Ramu, when somebody is due to attack me, you make me run away and escape. Thus, you make a coward of me. Should I not counter him? Fear, if you were made of that stuff, I would not have come near you. Ramu, how do you know that? Fear, I know where I should go. Ramu, but by my presence, I am becoming weaker and weaker. By your presence, I am becoming weaker and weaker. I am looked upon by others as a useless fellow. Fear, if you feel like that, then you should try to face the danger. But you have not been trying. That is why I rush to you. Ramu, how can I make myself fit to face the danger? Fear, as already advised to you, intellect must be made use of. Intellect will help you to understand that you run away from danger because you are so much attached to your body. This attachment to the body, based on your identification with the body, makes you protect the body using the safest and simplest method, that is, running away. Ramu, then with what should I identify? Fear, with what you really are. Ramu, then what am I really? Fear, really you are the spirit that is giving life and energy to the body. Ramu, what difference does it make whether I identify myself with the body or the spirit? Fear, my dear friend, the body is perishable, that is, it has birth, growth, and death. If you feel you are the body, then the birth, growth, and death belong to you, and also any injury to the body belongs to you. Therefore, you try to free the body from any harm or pain. Ramu, what about my identification with the spirit? Fear. Spirit has no birth, growth, and death. It is not affected by contact with fire, air, water, or any weapon. So, if your identification with the spirit is perfect, you will not run away from danger and will not mind any minor injury to the body. You know that your real being is not affected by any injury to the body. Ramu, do you mean to say those who identify themselves with the spirit will be able to face any danger? Fear, yes. When they suddenly face danger, their nervous system may react as of old, but that will be only momentary. Sham. Ramu, do you now understand how to face difficulties bravely? The moment you are able to face anything bravely, tension will have no place. Ramu, tension comes through other ways also. Sham, tension comes when you are apprehensive, when you have negative thoughts, mostly when you are alone to face some difficulties, when you are going to meet a VVIP and so on. All this happen when you are alone and you feel something is going to happen to you. Ramu, you are right, but how to get rid of it? Sham, by bringing in positive thoughts, by developing faith in God's protection, and by feeling His constant company. When you have When you have God remembrance, you will be free from all tensions as you will be sure it is God who does everything. The so called VVIP whom you go to meet is also God. So you are going to meet God in human form, not a tyrant. In a nutshell, God thought and knowledge of your real being will help you to face all situations, all dangers, and different types of people boldly and free you from all tension. Ramu, I told you about my boss. Sham, bosses can be very strict disciplinarians and hard taskmasters. Some are loving and lenient. Whatever they are, people who work under them have to adjust themselves to the whims and fancies of the bosses. In your case, though your boss appears terrible and is hard on you, you must know that everybody has a soft side also. Ramu, how to work with him without feeling the tension? Sham, if you understand that everybody has a soft side and do your duty perfectly and look upon him with love, talk to him lovingly in spite of his harsh words, he will surely change sooner or later. The change in the attitude of the boss will depend on how sincerely and wholeheartedly you love him. Real love can come to you only if you see divinity in others and train your mind to accept every incident that happens in this world as happening by God's will. So you should take it that it is by God's will that you are employed in this office and that it is by God's will that your boss is behaving as described by you. If you accept this, you would be able to adjust yourself to any condition because you will be feeling that you are dealing with God only and it is He who brings about every incident. Ramu, what about the situation at home? How to handle the difficulties with my wife? Sham, that your wife behaves in the manner she does, if you treat her with love and affection, and if you maintain your cool without losing your temper, your wife cannot but change. Ramu, how can I apply this approach to the mounting hospital bills? Sham, now about that problem, if you are financially so bad and are unable to seek help from anybody, you have to approach God by taking His name and pray to Him to come to your rescue in an attitude of perfect surrender. You will see that help comes to you mysteriously. God arranges help to reach you through any human form. You may not recognize Him as God or as sent by God. Such has been the experience of many bhaktas. So, if you pray to God, next moment your tension will be gone and peace will prevail in your heart. Ramu, There are many occasions causing tension. Sham. Tension caused by any occasion can be avoided if you have God remembrance and repose faith in Him. When you have such a faith in Him, you'll be free from tension even if things do not happen the way you wanted, as you will be able to accept that it is God's will that works. Ramu, what about negative thinking? Sham, negative thinking and apprehension can be got over if you have implicit faith in God that it is God who does everything and He always means well. Never carry the tension of one moment to another. As someone harmed you, as someone spread scandal against you, as someone behaved rudely towards you, forget it all, thinking of the unity of life. No man is an island. We must not cut ourselves off from others. In this thought, dissolve all tension. JP Vaswani. Anger. Manoj is considered by friends, relations, and subordinates in office as a very short tempered person, and therefore they were afraid of talking to him. Manoj himself felt his weakness. He also knew how others were unhappy over this. He wanted to put an end to anger and therefore decided to have a frank talk with anger. Manoj to anger. You are making a fool of me. Anger. I don't know why you think so. I am only helping you. Manoj, in what way are you helping me? Anger. I have always been coming to your rescue whenever anyone attacked, abused, insulted, or talked arrogantly to you, and you have accepted me as your friend. My company makes you feel manly. Now you seem to dislike me, but I am part of you. You are my friend. Manoj, I don't want you anymore. Anger. Frankly, I came to you as a friend. Now you have become a slave. Slaves are not free. Manoj, yes, now I realize my mistake in taking you as my friend. I never imagined you would control me. Anyway, I have decided to get rid of you at any cost. Anger, how can you do it when you have no backing? Manoj, I know of two very good people, patience and humility. They will help me. Anger, I see. So, you have made friends with my enemies. If they are with you, naturally, I have to hide myself. But I warn you, beware, if you ever remain alone without patience or humility at your side, I will pounce upon you at the appropriate occasion. I will possess you so strongly that it will be difficult for you to get out of my grips. Manoj, why do you frighten me? Anger, I am not frightening you. I am only making it clear that you can't afford to remain alone. Make sure you have the company of patience and humility always. Even then, there are occasions when I can jump upon you and control you. Manoj, what occasions? Anger. When you intensely desire something and don't get it, I pounce upon you. At that time, who can help you? Manoj, I have a well wisher called Ganesh. He has told me of the dangers of desires, how they possess me and make me mad. He has advised me to reduce my desires reduce my desires, the less desires I have. He has advised me to reduce my desires. The less desires I have, the happier and more peaceful I will be. So, I have decided to become desireless, and you have no chance of assaulting me. Anger, do you think it is so easy? Manoj, to keep you away, I have to sacrifice a lot, like excessive desires to enjoy sense objects, desire to possess things, desire for power and position, desire to dominate others, desire to acquire political clout, etc. But all this sacrifice is nothing compared to the peace I get in your absence. I also know there is no end to the desires. When one is fulfilled, another comes up, and so on and so forth. As I told you, I have learned from Ganesh that I should become free from desires. Anger. All right then. If you remember Ganesh's advice and have the company of humility, patience, you can certainly keep me away. Manoj, thank you for the advice. I would prefer the company of patience and humility and Ganesh's advice. They are my friends, real friends. Unlike you, who posed as a friend but proved to be my ruin. I am glad at least now I have become wiser. But tell me one thing, Mr. Anger, I find that you try to hold even some of the so called great persons under your thumb. How come? Anger. On the contrary, I respect those great and selfless souls and I come under their control. When I am with them, I am not myself. I serve them in the name of righteous indignation. Manoj, is that kind of indignation permitted? Anger, permitted or not, when they conquer me, I am transformed and made to serve them. In this process, my shape and qualities undergo a change. My conquerors are the guiding stars of humanity. They use me to correct those who go the wrong way. The wrongdoers are advised so lovingly that they are not even conscious that they are being corrected. My stay with them as righteous indignation is harmless and does not leave any residue or mark. It is just like the mark made by a stick on calm water. This is a result of their love and compassion for others. Manoj, is there much difference between you and righteous indignation? Anger, yes, it is like day and night. When I possess you, your temperature and stress levels rise. But when I become righteous indignation, you remain cool and calm even though externally you may appear serious. Patience, humility. After being under the control of anger, Manoj found that he was being ruined. He wanted to get rid of anger and therefore sought the help of patience, humility. Manoj. Hello, Mr. Patience, humility. I am Manoj. I am being ruined by anger. I can be free from him if I have your company, but I don't know why you keep yourself away from me. Patience, humility. I keep away because you are friendly with my enemy. You have become his slave. Manoj, I did not like him from the very beginning. Now I want to get rid of him. Patience, humility. But he has already made you his slave. You have no escape from him. Manoj, but I must get rid of him. I hate him. Please help me. Patience, humility. You can get rid of him. Tell me as to when he leaves you free and when he holds you tight in his grip. Manoj, he possesses me when I am attacked by those who are lower to me in status. He also seizes me when I am possessed with some desires that are thwarted by obstacles. Patience, humility. What about his behavior when you deal with your superiors? Manoj. Then he keeps himself away. Patience, humility. So, you know how to keep him away. Manoj. No, I don't know. Patience, humility. You just now said when you deal with your superiors or those you respect, it does not come near you. This shows that if you consider everybody as your superior, worthy of respect, and nobody as inferior to you, anger will not come near you. Manoj, how can I do that? All are not my superiors. Patience, humility. This is where you need my guidance. In the absence of my company, the pride in you does not allow you to consider everybody as your superior. If you could feel that you are worthless only as a blade of grass or even dust of their feet, then anger will never come near you. Manoj, how can I do how can I do it? Patience, humility. You can do it. First, you should know your true self. Then, you will not identify yourself with the body, mind, or intellect. Instead, you will identify yourself with the Atma that activates all this. You will then see the same Atma in everybody and everything, all deserving your love, respect, and worship. Then automatically you will enjoy my company and help. Manoj, but somehow anger has taken control of me. Patience, humility. He took control of you because he was the gainer. When he stayed with you, your friends and relatives were afraid of you and kept away from you. But I never control anybody. When I am with you, your relations and friends become closer to you and happy with you. Manoj, so please be with me always. Patience, humility. You don't have to invite me. The moment you give respect to others and remember that God, who is in your heart, is seated in others' heart as well, I am with you, even without your knowledge. God realization means experience of God. For this, humility is essential. Too much learning makes one proud. One must bend one's head to Him, realizing the limitations of reason. It can take you only to the gate and it has to be left behind when you enter the realm of the Spirit. You have to unlearn what you have learned and become as simple and guileless as a child. Swami Ramdas. Attachment. Ramu, dear Mr. Attachment, you are a great actor. You are not just an ordinary person. You do mono acting, playing the part of one now, switching on to another later, and again to another. The most beautiful part is that nobody doubts that it is the same person in all these roles of love, attachment, and affection, etc. Attachment. In fact, I am not playing any part. The so called three roles you mentioned are only your own changing moods. Ramu, even after coming over and controlling us, your denial, your denial is very surprising. At a stage, you are not welcome anywhere. Of course, you are with everyone, even without his or her knowledge. Attachment. I am not creating nuisance anywhere. On the other hand, I am proud to say I am the kingpin of creation. Without me, the world will collapse. Ramu, what a preposterous claim. Are you so powerful? Attachment, yes, it is not a mere claim, it is the truth. Ramu, I am not at all convinced of your tall talk. Can you prove your claim? Attachment. First of all, I am known by many names like love, affection, etc. Let us say a child is born. If the mother does not show any love towards it and therefore does not take care of it, what will happen? A cow gives birth to a calf. If the cow does not have any love for the calf, will it survive? Families are living together only because of me. I am in everyone in the family. If I am not there, the family will break into pieces. Ramu, there we do not blame you, we welcome you. But after some time, it takes a different turn and becomes binding. At that stage, we call you attachment. It binds us to a small circle and limits our vision. Attachment. Now, I will request my friend Mahesh to answer your question. He knows me more than anybody else. You can rely on his knowledge. Mahesh. Hello Ramu, what can I do for you? Ramu to Mahesh. I was only appreciating attachment's acting ability in those three roles. Is he not wonderful that way? Mahesh, my dear friend, no doubt is wonderful, but you must know that he only moves in your direction, in your different moods of love, affection, and attachment. Ramu, please tell me all about love, affection, and attachment. Mahesh, all the three mean the same thing in the lower level. Take your own case. You love those who are closely related to you by blood and bonds of friendship as your own. For them, you give your best regardless of others. For them, you are prepared to work hard, earn as much as possible, and spend any amount even by begging, borrowing, and stealing if your earnings are not sufficient. Yet you are not satisfied with what you have already done. You are full of compassion for them. Your vision is so clouded that you don't find fault with them even for serious lapses. You are able to sacrifice anything for them. Ramu, what is the harm in it? Mahesh, no harm, but it can move only in a limited circle. It is selfish and is called affection, which causes attachment. Ramu, why do you say it is selfish? Mahesh, ordinarily you love your body, its relatives and friends. When a crisis arises, and if it is found necessary to sacrifice everything to spare oneself, where does one start? You start sacrificing the interest of your friends first, then close relatives, then closer relatives, and then closest relatives like your child or partner whom you have been protecting so far. You then stand back in the satisfaction that at least you have been saved at the expense of everybody for whom you had great love before. Ramu, what are the consequences of such a narrow vision? Mahesh, more and more attachment, sense of possessiveness, and also grief when you have to part with people and things either through death or loss. Ramu, how can we avoid grief? Mahesh, first you must train your mind that whatever you have by way of family or property is all given by God to be kept with you as a trustee. When the time comes to part with them, you should do so cheerfully. You also should practice loving the divine in everybody and not the body. The body may perish, but the divine is eternal and everything, everywhere, and eternal and everywhere, and therefore there is no coming and going or passing away. Ramu, but when we think of someone, we can do so only by bringing his or her form to our mind. Mahesh, of course, when you think of someone, the form appears first in your mind. Immediately, you must think of the life or power that activates that form and give more importance to that life divine. It is something like seeing electrical equipments, fans, heaters, ovens, etc. You know, these solid forms are of no use if electricity is switched off? Ramu, how is it that even though we have not brought anything with us, and when family and things are acquired during lifetime, we feel they are our own? Mahesh, that is the elusive power of the Lord. If someone gives you something and you like it very much, gradually you develop a sense of possession. This possessiveness applies to persons, things, property, etc. Ramu, I can understand when it refers to materials, but how can we possess people? Mahesh, one may meet many persons in daily life. Ramu, I can understand when it refers to materials, but how can we possess people? Mahesh, one may meet many persons in daily life and forget them soon, except a few who capture your attention. You meet the other person a few more times and get more acquainted. Then both want to meet more frequently and talk for hours on nothing but to keep talking. Ultimately, both become so intimate that they think of each other constantly, replacing all other thoughts. Thus, they get so infatuated over each other and become crazy and do not mind what others feel about them. When they are to get separated for any reason, they become miserable. Ramu, how to avoid such unhappiness? Mahesh, the best way is not to get closer to anybody and thus avoid intimacy. Ramu, is there any other way? Mahesh, yes. Both should see divinity in each other, and their love must be for the divine and not for the body. Then there is no chance of intimacy and therefore no sense of separation, even if one passes away or goes away to a distant place. Ramu, what you said is regarding intimacy between two persons. How to avoid getting attached to large groups, organizations, etc. Mahesh, you have to keep your company mind always in a high state of consciousness, whether it is clear for you that the entire manifestation containing all the varied names and forms is one unit resting on the all pervading reality. Everything in the manifestation is like the limbs of the universal body of the Lord, and therefore we are all one. This vision will free us from all attachments to persons, groups, and events happening in the universe. Ramu, the moment we see a form, we forget the reality, which means the forms are blocking the reality from us. Mahesh. This is a complaint of every sadhaka, but when we are established in the real, no form, however enticing, can cloud our vision. Ramu, are there any special rules for sadhakas? Mahesh, ordinarily people are not at all concerned about attachment. Therefore, they are getting more and more bound. Sadhakas have to be watchful when they move with others closely. Ramu, sadhakas are also supposed to be practicing to be conscious of the divine in everybody. Still, why do they get attached to persons, properties, and wealth? Mahesh, this happens because of their not being vigilant. So, every sadhaka should be always vigilant in moving too intimately with anyone, but do intense sadhana to walk steadily on the spiritual path. These are the dangers of intimacy. Intimacy with a form is likely to draw the mind away from the formless reality, resulting in attachment to that form. This will prove to be a setback in sadhana. Ramu, the body is a solid form, whereas a spirit or divine cannot be perceived with our eyes. Then, how can we give more importance to the divine and not to the body? Mahesh, the divine is pure consciousness. So, we can only be conscious of the divine and not perceive it with our senses. By practice and experience, we will be able to be conscious of the divine in everybody and give less importance to the body. All the forms in the universe are perishable, as it is the very nature of things to be born, to live for some time and perish. So, depending on perishable things will not give us real happiness. Man ignorantly lives happily contented with these perishables, subject to transitory pleasures and pains, with no idea of a higher life. Ramu, what higher thing are you referring to? Mahesh, I had mentioned earlier that these attachments, love and affection, are all in the lower plane. When you want to develop a higher type of love, you have to transcend the small circle by widening your vision. You gradually widen your circle and give your love to more and more without expecting anything in return. This is selfless love and it paves the way for liberation. In the smaller circle, you are expecting something in return for the love you give, that is, same love, a word of thanks, or at least a smile or some expression of gratitude. This type of love is narrow and selfish and also causes bondage. Ramu, what is the difference between attachment and real love? Mahesh, though you call it love, it is only affection and attachment based on body consciousness, and its area of action is limited. That love is the real love which is based on the consciousness of divinity in everything, and the areas of its action is limitless. Ramu, can I have both at the same time? Mahesh, there is no question of having both at the same time. The lower type of love, which everybody has in some rare cases by intense sadhana and prayer, gets transformed into devotion and supreme devotion, which has a very wide vision, a very large heart, and an illumined intellect, so as to have the universal love. When you are moving in small circle, you are egoistic. You are concerned only with your body and its relations and therefore self-centered. Only when your ego is erased, that is, when the little self is gone, the boundary or say the bondage is broken. You you can love all without expecting anything in return. So real love replaces the lower one. Ramu, please tell me more about real love. Mahesh, real love is born of universal vision. It is not attachment, nor is it based on body consciousness. This love is selfless, limitless, and without any expectations in return. This love gives us immense joy, as when we are possessed by this love, we are possessed by God. God and love are not different. Mahesh continues. In the lower type of love, which is controlled by the ego, one gives love only for one's own satisfaction. If one is not getting sufficient response, he or she may withdraw it, whereas higher love is given freely to everyone, even to those who hate. The motto of those blessed with this love is to give love for hate, as they know they are loving only God seated in everybody's heart. It is also said that we should hate the sin but love the sinner. Ramu, what do we gain by eradicating the ego? Mahesh, when you are under the control of the ego, your life is full of worries and anxieties and you are selfish. You are in bondage. You feel you are the body and nothing beyond it. You are as if in a cage. When the ego is driven away, you are a liberated soul. Ramu, but I feel I am enjoying freedom even now. Mahesh, that is the freedom of a bird caught in a cage enjoys. Ramu, why do you say so? Mahesh, first of all, do you know who you are? Ramu, yes, I am Ramu, son of so and so. Mahesh, that is not correct. Ramu is the name of the coat you are wearing. Ramu, no, Ramu is my name. Mahesh, yes, the name given to your body, but are you the body? Ramu, then who am I? Am I not the body? Mahesh, you are that which is the driving force in your body which possesses the body. Ramu, how do I come to know that? Mahesh, go to your saint and accept him as your guru. He will guide you. Ramu, what is the harm in having attachment to the body? Mahesh, attachment to the body and its relations tightens the bondage you are already in. It continues to keep you in the cycle of birth and death. Ramu, to attachment. I am glad you are still here listening to our dialogue. Mahesh ji has opened my eyes and I am able to see how you help everybody to become more and more subtle. I thank you for sending me to Mahesh ji. Attachment. Now that you have heard everything from Mahesh, I shall tell you I do not remain in the lower plane always. I also transform myself to help you all to reach the supreme heights, God. Ramu, how do you do such wonderful things? Attachment. I select the blessed ones, and in my other aspect, as devotion, I make them almost mad. Then I am called Paramaprem, supreme devotion. In that form, I take the crazy ones to merge in my Lord and remain with them forever, doing wonderful things through them. Attachment continues. Though I am welcomed and liked by everybody, I am considered as causing bondage at lower level. But my working at higher level is so sublime that everyone craves to have me as I have the means for their liberation. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
Till 4:40 you can continue. Till 4:40.
Ah.
You can drink water.
Four 30 was stop.
No problem.
I had to go there.
I like very much that book.
Ah.
I liked very much that book. Dive deep and
So
so high. How nice. Is it a way of buying it? You have it?
Yeah.
Oh, because it's done in such a nice way, you know. It's so it's easy,
To understand.
It's done so like a play a little bit. Very nice, very nice. Oh, I will go and pick it up.
Yeah.
Will you go on now? Not today.
Can tomorrow.
Good, with pleasure.
Yeah.
Good. When did you begin again with those? Because you remember a few days ago I asked you, you said no reading.
Yeah.
Started from yesterday.
Yesterday.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. So tomorrow at 3:30 again.
Yeah.
Tomorrow at 3:30. Another person.
Okay.
His name is Ingrid.
Okay. And then on Friday, Swami Satyananda will be here, right?
Mukta Samshi.
Sorry?
No, Friday, yeah.
Friday. So the talk at 3 o'clock will take place.
Yeah.
Good. Very
What
good.
bhajan I can
So I
sing?
go straight away to I know I don't have my purse. At what time do you close? In the
5 o'clock.
At 5? I wanted to go to meditation now. Oh, you go on. Sorry.
Gopala Radhalola Gopala Radhalola Murali Bhala Nanda Bhala Murali Bhala Nandalala Gopala Radhalola Gopala Radhalola Murali Bhala Nandha Bhala Jaya Murali Vala Nanda Bhala केशव माधव जनार्दना केशव माधव जनार्दना वनमाला वृंदावन लोला वनमाला वृंदावन लोला केशव माधव जनार्दना केशव माधव जनार्दना वनमाला वृंदावन लोला वनमाला वृंदावन लोला मुरली वाला नंदभाला मुरली वाला नंदभाला गोपाला राधालोला गोपाला राधालोला मुरली वाला नंदबाला मुरली वाला केशव माधव जनार्दना केशव माधव जनार्दना वनमाला वृंदावन लोला वनमाला वृंदावन लोला मुरली वाला नंद भाला जय मुरली वाला नंद भाला गोपाला राधालोला गोपाला राधालोला मुरली वाला नंदभाला जय मुरली वाला नंदबाला राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय
Shri Rama Jai Rama Jai Jai Rama Om. Shri Rama Jai Rama Jai Jai Rama Om.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama Om.
Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai